Okay, hi guys, Andrew here. We're going to go over Gokasho Bay number 5. Uh, this hole is a complete pain in the ass. The good news is it's a pain in the ass for your opponent too. And, getting something usually just reasonably close to the hole will win you this hole. There's some easier wins, and we're going to go over that. I play this or this hole, I should say, with 0 elevation. So 0%. Okay. And um, if you're playing, so and 95% of people play from this area here. I think this is the best shot. Um, but when you get a certain wind, so the wind that goes in this direction is the hardest wind. When you're pulling your adjustment back into that bunker, whenever you're pulling into a lower ground, you always have to compensate by, pushing up a little bit. It always takes a little distance off, and we'll see that in a couple of the shots we're going to go through. There's a shot from down here, okay, that I tried for a long time to get this shot down. It's kind of inconsistent, and we'll go through that shot. I tried different spots of where the ring was to that bunker before I adjusted and things like that. I might give it another whirl for a while, but we'll see. The other thing is if you have a Guardian on, I don't use a Guardian on 2 or 10. I just don't see any advantage to having a Guardian on 2 or 10. I use Sniper or Cat. And the Cat's not a big one. I think I have a Cat 3 or 4 on the account I'm using this month. Is really all you need, because there's just a couple of holes where it's an advantage to have that distance and that top spin, where the Guardian doesn't give you that. But if you do have a Guardian on and you like the Guardian, we all have our favorite clubs, then you could also play a shot from here. And I don't think I have probably examples of that shot, but it's pretty straightforward. I would just play no elevation with wind arrow, and then just where you are. If you're in the mid, probably close to mid of the club, depending on if you're pulling down or up, and just figuring out with max backspin, and that will get you somewhere around the hole, and that's not a bad shot either. Okay, but most of the shots are going to be from this top left side, and then I think we have a few from this bottom. So let's go through the let's go through it here. Okay, so here's a shot for that we're playing from the bottom. So what I was originally trying to do when I was playing down here is try and find a consistent landing area. I mean, it's important to get consistency. Yeah, as you can see, that the ground isn't the flattest down there is one of the problems with the shot. And then it's about timing. So what we're trying to do is bump, our shot into the hill and then let it die out towards the hole. Okay, so this here is Goliath shot. And this one you can see, we'll go back and look at the topspin again. So that the bounce looked pretty much where we were aiming. Okay, bounced into the hill and up towards the hole. So not the greatest shot. That's probably about 3 or 4 yards, but sometimes that'll just win you the hole. This wind, this left to right wind. So you can see I played that Goliath, with wind arrow, I would be into a max situation here. Okay, but this wind, I think, anything that's left to right should be played from the top. But, if you want to try this out, so you can see, the white ring, what am I, maybe 4 or 5 yards from the bunker line when I make my adjustment. Okay, and I think we'll see some more shots that, get that white ring closer to the bunker. I sort of fooled around with my landing area, trying to find something consistent. I've seen people hit good shots here. I saw our Prez John get a hole-in-one from down there with a white ball recently, which was a baller shot. Okay, so let's go to the next. So here we go again. So this wind, see, this is the pain in the ass wind. So if you're playing from the top left, not only are you pulling into the bunker, but you might, with a strong wind like that, also be pulling into the Goliath club, because you're pulling right down into the minimum zone. So you can see here the white ring's getting closer to that bunker. Okay, same sort of deal. max with arrow, right, and trying to bump it into that hill and take take the power off it. So really all it is the spins of the shot. Is it 3 top spin? Is it 2 top spin? And fooling around with it that way. But really, you're looking at your ball guide, trying to envision it bumping right here into that hill, and then letting the hill take the power off the shot. So, that's not a bad shot either. That'll win most of the time. Okay, so let's go to the next. Okay, so here we go again, playing from down low, max with arrow. So see, I put +5 on here because I'm fooling around trying to find a better spot, and because it is lower than the top part, where this probably is a +5 position. So we'll go back to our chart and we'll look at that, and we'll put plus. Now you can see that white ring now falling into the bunker on this shot. Okay, and okay, so max with arrow again, +5 position. So pretty good landing spot there, right where we were aiming. So the +5 looks like a good spot, and there's a hole in one. So let's go back to the first one, okay? And how many topspin did we? So this one, I'm going to write this down: 10-1 in the the 4 o'clock wind, and 3 topspin. Okay, and this was played from further back, and this wasn't bad weight on that one. Okay, and then this one had 11 going the other way, but played from a little higher. This one also, okay, no, 2.5 topspin, and played from closer. Okay, so that's a bit strange. One was a headwind, one was a tailwind, but almost the same spin, but really the same. Well, no, I did come a little back here. And really the idea is that just making sure you get that bounce into the hole. So I probably played a little too much. Let's see where this lands going into the hill. It probably lands on the higher part of the hill. Let's see. Yeah, see, that almost missed the hill. So I would change that to almost 1.5 or 2 topspin. And then let's see, from this example, this was also a headwind, but a smaller wind. So this was a 6-8 wind. Okay, and then that white ring is sort of hugging there, hugging the line. And this one we played, yeah, see, this looks like a better shot, so 1.5 topspin. So I think, why don't we, like for now, I'm going to make this, if I play this shot again, I'm going to play this white ring sort of falling in the bunker, lining up that ball guide, and then with a headwind, I'm going to say it's 1.5-ish, maybe even with a strong down to 1. Because this landing, I think, looked better. This is the hole-in-one shot. So let's see. Yeah, a little bit further back. See, that could even be, a 1 topspin shot. That might go too far past the hole if it didn't go in. So we might even change that to 1 topspin if we're hugging the sand like that. Okay. All right, so here's a shot with a cat 4. Okay, so as long as you have your spins down. Oh, no, I'm playing down here again. Okay, so let's see. White ring to the rough again. I'm blocking my spin here. So 2. Oh, there we go. So 1.5 again. Okay, so now, oh, and I'm going right in the bunker. Oh, but we also had a headwind. So we have a bit of a headwind to the side, and we've pushed up our spot a little, but still played that 1.5. So you can see we're a full 1.5 rings into the bunker. And that's a good landing spot. I like this shot. I like better than the hole-in-one shot. Okay, so that was an 8 o'clock wind. Yeah, an 8 o'clock wind. So 1.5, and then white ring falling in the bunker. So maybe that's what we just pull back a little bit when we have the headwind, or the tailwind, I should say. Okay, so here's one we're going to play from the top here. So this wind is ideal. This is like the best wind you can get for this shot. Okay, so a little wind in your face to slow it down. And also where we're pulling on even ground. We're not pulling into this bunker. So you can see here, I always usually try and aim a little top left of the hole. You can see because the wind effect is going to bring it back down. Okay, and basically we're playing just with wind arrow. Okay, and then we would have been in the mid of the club there. So that would have been an 8 ringer. You know, and that comes in real nice. So see, aiming out to the left there and out like above the hole, right? And we just let the wind, because the left, the right wind is just going to bring it back for us a little bit, right? And basically, and you'll see throughout these left to right shots, you're always in sort of like a 5 backspin, 5 right spin situation, somewhere in that area, 4 and 4, 5 and 5, depending, and you can fool around with that. But the big thing is just playing with wind arrow, because you can see there's no elevation here, right? Look where we're aiming. It's just flat. Now I can see a little maybe down where we were, like that 5% we talked about, but this is just a flat shot. You know, so when you see things, people saying it's plus 10, blah, 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 it's not. I mean, we just play for the wind effect. So we aimed up to the left and it brought it back down. All right, next. Excuse me. Okay, so this is the same sort of adjustment. This is, you know, the best winds. You know, if you see me put plus 5 in sometimes, that's just because I'm playing that wind as a plus 5 instead of moving the wind arrow, because I'm guessing it's just sort of in a plus 5 position, right? So you can see here, aimed a little above the hole, and we're going to let it just roll down. You know, we would have played this one 6-9, right, with that plus 5, because that wind is like a plus 5, you know, and just let it get roll down. So that's the only time I don't put the wind arrow in, is like when it's like almost directly sideways. I just put plus 5 in, because that's almost what you know, once you move that wind a little bit, that's what you are. You're in a plus 5 position. Okay, so this is the wind that's the pain in the ass. And I'm going to show you how that I play this one. So you see here, right, I'm coming back a little bit, right, and I'm going to go through the hole a little bit because the wind now is going the other direction, right? So see how the ball guide's going through the hole? Now watch when I make this adjustment. So it looks like I'm going to make a 6-7 probably adjustment here. But when I go down into the bunker, watch at the end here, I'm going to pull it back up at the end. Like watch here, see that push? I pushed up, kept my line straight with my grid lines on my screen, like made sure I wasn't coming down further or up more or whatever, just going straight across towards the hole. So I pushed it up about, you know, another ring at the end, because you got to make that adjustment. So we'll watch this again. Let's get halfway through here. So watch when I pull down, okay? So pulling down, pulling, and now watch here at the end. See how I push that about a ring up? So you got to be real careful when you're pulling your adjustment always into a lower ground. You got to give it a little push at the end, because you're losing distance. Okay, it's just the way that, you know, the ring system works. Okay, so this would be another ideal wind for this left to right. So these winds are, these left to rights are always the ones. It's the rights, the lefts that are the pain in the ass, that you might want to start dialing in ones from the bottom. So you can see here, just aimed, you know, a little left of the hole, because this wind's going to pull it. You push it back a little bit, and see, this is just a nice flat pull across, so it's pretty consistent there. You know, and I would be in like the medium range, mid range. You know, with the wind arrow. You know, this comes in real nice. Okay, next. And so see here, so here's a cat 5. So you don't lose, so with the ball, so we know our spins, like we're always in that, see here, the 5 down, right? And I know, I don't see the end of the ball guide, but I know that spin is about right. I know the 5 down, and see how I'm playing it short, because that wind is going to push it over, so I'm playing shorter than normal, right? Because that's a big wind, 14-7, because of the quasar, right? And the big thing is just, and not ever curling this shot. You don't want to curl to the right. You just want to play it down the middle, and let the wind do the job for you. Play the wind effect and just let this slope take you over to where it's going to be. So that was a nice shot with a cat, in a big wind. And you see that wind effect. So watch here again. Playing way short. We've got the 5 backspin, right, which is important. Okay, so we know we're always in that 4 to 6 backspin, depending on how strong the wind is. If I had more backspin here, I probably would have played it because of this high wind, right? And you can see where I'm aiming, just out and short, and I'm just going to let that wind push it towards the hole and let the slope of where I'm landing here just, do the work for me. You can't see it here because there's a glitch, but I would have just played this in the middle of the hole, hit it perfect. You don't want to play curl on this shot. Ever. Okay, so next. See, so this is another wind here that will be pulling into the bunker. Okay, so let's see, if, we do a little push up at the end or not. Okay, so you can see here, 5 backspin again. That seems to be sort of the right range, 5 backspin. If we had a wind going on our backs, we might want to play 6, but 5 seems to be about the normal spot. Maybe 4.5 in a headwind. So let's see, when I pull down here, right? So see, and then should be a little push here at the end. See that push I'm doing? So see, I did even a bigger push there because I was going so far down into that bunker that I did at least a 1.5 ring push back up. So if you feel more comfortable about turning your rings around and pulling it straight back or doing it the way I do, I use the grid line to make sure the grid line's staying straight with one of the rings, and I just push that way. So let's go through that again. It's really important that when I'm pulling down into this, into this lower ground, right? Now see that? It was about a ring, okay, that I went towards the hole, right? Because I know I'm losing distance. So a lot of people don't do that part, and what happens is they bounce too far in that bunker and it kicks away to the right. Okay, so it's really important that when you're adjusting into that bunker that you give it that ring again. Okay, so this is the favorable wind. Even when it's a high wind, we like this left to right in our face sort of, because that in the face also will slow that ball down. This shot's always, that sort of in that mid area with the wind arrow. A big wind like this, you might want to add a little bit, but I had a power 4 ball, so I probably, still pulling into mid like I would be with a less power ball and less wind. It's hard to tell. I was probably playing on my iPad, but I bet that was the 11.9. And you can see that came in real nice too. So we'll quickly review here. Okay. So on this shot, okay, is just 0 with arrow. Okay, sorry about my writing. I'm not used to this new gadget. So 0 with arrow. Okay, from down here. Okay, so I suggest we do that. That white ring on a headwind. We were a white ring was sort of in the bunker. So let's go down here. We'll play this at plus 5% with arrow. Okay, and we'll do our grid here of the winds. Okay, so on a headwind, whoops, the white ring in bunker. This is terrible, this pen. And on a tailwind, white ring short of bunker. And it looked like, so what we talked about on this tailwind, we were about 1.5 topspin. And on a headwind, we were 3 topspin. So I would say, in the side ones, we're probably in the 2.25 marks, usually about half of, in between what these are. Okay, so those are just quick notes. We're going to make these better, but hopefully this is a good starting point. This is a real tough hole, but hopefully this will, help you get going, and we'll see you on the next one.